we go. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Delicate Pines. Forgot the name of it. Delicate Pines online class. Um, my name is Karen. I'm from Central New Jersey. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I go under Creative Stampin' Designs. And Tara and I have been doing these classes. We're coming up to a year now that we've been doing them.
How is that even
January,
possible? I was thinking of that this morning.
yeah, January will be 1 year. And we do make sure that we're pretty consistent of doing the classes monthly, usually the last Sunday of every month. Not unfortunately, but next weekend, next Sunday, Tara and I will be at our retreat in Georgia. So we were not going to be able to do the class then. And we will let you know our next class because of the holidays. We're changing things up a little bit just to get through the holidays, and then we'll start back to our normal routine in January. All the packets you got are labeled. I labeled mine 1, 2, 3, but I did put titles on them, but right now I can't remember the titles. I'll remember when I look at the actual cards. I know the first one was labeled Fun Folds. And that would be packet number 1. Tara and I will let you know before we start each card which inks we're using for that card and anything else you need to have out and ready. But I think that's it. We really appreciate you guys coming to the classes and helping us both support our small businesses.
All right, give me two
And Tara,
minutes.
where'd you go? She disappeared. Once we do get started, though, if everybody can please mute themselves, but feel free if you have a question to unmute, to hop back on, to ask a question. It's just so that if there's any background noise, it won't take over from Tara and I presenting.
All right, are you ready for me to take over?
We're ready, Tara. Go.
Okay, so first of all, I have to apologize. I am a little frazzled today. I was at a crop all day yesterday and it was fantastic. I met so many great people. I had a good time, but half of my stuff is still packed and I'm thinking that I'm going to leave it packed because I leave for the retreat, as Karen said, on Wednesday. But then I realized I need half of this stuff that's packed. So my ribbon was packed, my blending brushes was packed, my Secret C was packed. So just since we've logged on, I realized I didn't have all of that stuff ready. I had the kits out, but not my inks. So I apologize. And my laptop died this morning, so it's been quite a day. Um, so as I said, I'm Tara with Tara Best Stamps. Thank you so much for joining Karen and I. We have a great time creating these cards. We hope that you guys enjoy them. Any constructive feedback, we're more than happy to hear it. We love to hear what you liked, what you didn't like, because we just want to make this for you guys. So the first card that I'm going to do is my fun fold. So I decided to go ahead and throw in a gift card holder with this month's card because 'tis the season, whether you're giving a gift card to, your mailman, your kids, parents, whatever. This is a great way to get them started early. And I also need my embellishments that are packed. I just discovered that. Ta-da! At least I'm organized enough in my packing to know where everything is. So that's good. All right, so we're going to get started. The only ink that you're going to need for this is your Secret C. That's the only ink. We are using mainly all of the sentiments from Snowflake Kisses, as well as the coordinating dies. So I used, if Kisses were snowflakes, I'd send you a blizzard. So if you want to pull that one off and let it snow. I did go ahead and use this little snowflake down here from the Delicate Pines collection. And then we're going to use the dies from the Snowflake Kisses. Karen's the one that kind of talked me into this set, and I absolutely love it. I went on a creating spree with this set. So it is a fun set. So, oh, and you will need your Winkastella. And thank goodness that's not packed. Okay, so here's today's card. So this is just one of my easiest. I got a pop dot right there that I put down there to take pictures. So sorry about that. So this is one of the easiest gift card holders that you can do. Just kind of a little accordion fold. It has a place for sentiments and a little note to add in there. And then your spot for your gift card. So let's get started. So I'm going to set that to the side. Let me kind of set this where you guys can see it. Pull that down just a scotch. Here we go. All right. So what you'll find in your kit is you're going to find a 5 1/4 or 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 piece of shaded spruce. You're going to find that little small matted piece of Secret Sea that is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. You're going to find a piece of the designer series paper, and you can actually use whatever side you want because, as Karen always says, this is your card, do it your way. So this would be lovely as well. And I think I might do that this time. We may flip it around and see. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Oh, and you need a punch, a circle punch. So I've got a 1 7/8 that I just grabbed, but any circle punch will work. So that should be all that you need to get this started. So I'm going to set all of this kind of out of the way, and I am going to pull out a piece of, oh, all of my rulers are gone. Anyway, you have 2 pieces of basic white that are the same size. They may be 3 1/8 by, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we're going to pull both of these out, and we're going to go ahead and do some ink blending first. So I'm starting out with my blending brush, and I'm just going to grab some ink from that Secret Sea pad, and I'm going to start off of at the corner and kind of just rotate in. And something's on that paper. We're going to flip that over. I'm not sure what that was. And we're going to just do a soft blending, kind of up about 1/2 to 3/4 of it. I'm blending with that blue Secret Sea. I do kind of like my edges a little bit darker, so I do kind of hit the edges pretty hard because I think that gives it a nice little touch. So that's all we have to do for that first piece. Now, while we're out at it, we've got the ink open. We'll go ahead and ink up the If Kisses Were Snowflakes, I'd Send a Blizzard. And we're going to stamp it on that 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 piece of basic white. We'll set that out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and add Let It Snow on the other one. This is going to go on the inside. So I'm going to do a nice little stamp there, and then just add a snowflake there. I'm going to add a couple there. So I'm going to use my power of odds, and I'm going to do 3 of those snowflakes there in that corner. So this is ultimately all of the stamping that you have to do. Let's go ahead and add some snowflakes to the outside of our envelope while we're at it. Just giving it a nice little stamp. So I'll let you guys get that done. Kind of let me know when you're done. We'll get moving on. All right, now once you get that done, go ahead and take the corner snowflake die from the Snowflake Wishes. Is that right? Snowflake Kisses. And go ahead and add it to the very bottom corner and die cut out. Now, I went ahead and left just a little bit of an edge because I wanted to make sure that I had a little bit hanging there. So go ahead and die cut out that, as well as die cut the silver, the 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 silver foil that you have. I have brushed silver because I couldn't find my silver foil this morning. I have a feeling it's packed. So go ahead and die cut that, as well as your stylish shapes. And let me see which one this is. I think it's the third one, the third smallest. But let me confirm that here. Yes, we are going to use the third smallest circle die from Stylish Shapes to die cut that sentiment. So we can do all three of those items and meet that. All right, how's everybody getting along? Are we good?
So, Tara, this is Deborah. You used the third smallest stylish shapes on the silver,
No, I used the third smallest Stylish Shapes on the sentiment.
on the sentiment.
And then I used the circle from the Snowflake Kisses.
Oh, okay.
And this, it has, I think you said you didn't quite have that one yet.
Right.
So it has really cute little snowflakes around the edge.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it really, I mean, it makes some really, really pretty cards, especially when you do it with the foil, whether it's gold foil, whether it's, now I don't think it looks very good with the shimmer paper, but the foil or just even cardstock, it's just beautiful. All right, so here's that corner piece. We're going to go ahead and peel that off. And you're going to have great little snowflakes to save for another day. So now that one's not really something you can reuse. You could try, do a little paper piecing. I'm just not that patient. But there's a couple solid ones that you can definitely get by with reusing them and putting them with other projects. So never throw that stuff away. Now, just as a recommendation, what I do when I have things like this, sometimes like with the cards with leaves, I have a tendency to stamp and die cut a lot of them because I want to make sure that I have enough. So what I always do is I just take these pieces and throw them in, like I'm not going to use those, but these I will. So I'm going to throw them in my stamp case so they're there for future use. Never throw it away. You never know when you'll use it. Okay, so where are we at here? Okay, so that's for our front. Now we're going to go ahead and start assembling our card. So as I said, you've got some designer series paper that's going to go on your panel of DSP. Use what side you want. And once again, my seal is packed. I would have definitely been more organized if I didn't have to go to Best Buy this morning. Let's see here. Now, if you're not familiar with Seal, I'll just give you a little tutorial on loading this bad boy up. So Stampin' Seal is our dry adhesive. I absolutely love it. I use it on just about everything because liquid adhesive and I, well, we don't really get along very good. So there's the refill. I'm just going to pop it in. It's got 2 holes right there. I'm going to pop it in and then pop this case right back. All right, now I can work here. So I'm going to take my seal and just adhere it to that secret C, leaving that 1/8 of an inch around just a tiny little peekaboo border, which is my favorite. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the shaded spruce. So that is our card base. And I'm already digging this one a little bit more than the other one. I don't know. We'll see what you guys think. Now you have a piece of 3.5, I believe, by 9 3/4, and that looks off. We're just going to have to do something here. Bear with me. All right. We're going to make this grid paper in the non-metric system, the empiric system, I guess is what they call it. So yeah, this is 3 3/4 and it should be by 9 3/4. It looks like I've got a little bit extra, but I'll make that work. So it's scored at 3 1/4 and 6 1/2. And so that should give us, oh, you know what? I bet I didn't score it right. Luckily, I didn't make your kits when I made my kits. 3 3/4. So that's 1 1/4 off. Let's just see if we can't fix this. 3 1/4, 6 1/2. That already looks better. We'll put that away for another day. All right, so fold that in half and then fold that back. So we have an accordion fold. So valley mountain is kind of the orientation that we're doing it in. Okay, so I like to use tear tape when I'm doing a fun fold like this. Tear tape is just a little bit stronger. Stampin' Seal Plus is fantastic. If you're a liquid glue person, that's fine. I just like to go ahead and use this because it seems to me to be just a little bit stronger. So I usually do 3 little pieces, and this is going to go in the center of our card base, and you want it to open up. So make sure you have it placed in the correct orientation before you adhere it.
Can you show that again, Tara?
I absolutely can.
Thank
so
you.
I've got it folded at 3 1/4 and 6 1/2. I folded it in mountain and valley, and it, you know, you can flip it around and it's going to end up being mountain and valley as well. Before you glue it down, you want to make sure that the fold is at the top.
Thank you.
And then it opens up. Now, the nice thing is, because we haven't put the card front on this, if you happen to go ahead and put it on the bottom, we would be okay. We would just flip it around because this paper is non-directional. So you could make it work, which is another reason that I do this before I put it all together. I build my card base first. So I'm centering that as well as I can, giving it a nice little fold. That's awful. Oh. And this, like I said, this tape is really good. All right, let's try that again. That one's already stuck really good. There we go. That's a scotch better. All right, so now we can put our card together, all the good stuff, all the fun stuff. So here's our card again. So the first thing we're going to do, oh, I want to flick this with some Winkostella. So the Winkostella, you just kind of open it up. I'm going to prime it up a little bit, pushing the sides, getting it nice and wet. Has this one never been used? Yeah, it's been used. Here we go. We're going to use this one. All right. Nope. There we are, my nice and juicy one. Okay, so I'm going to prime it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to kind of flick it. And so what I do, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can flick it on your finger, you know, and just kind of tap it. And you're not going to see this, I'm sure, but you'll see it on yours. So you can just tap it, tap it, tap it, and that's going to give you that nice little sprinkle look. Ooh, got a little excessive there. All right, so now we can adhere that to the card front. So just a little bit of seal there, and then I'm going to do some there, and then right in the kind of the corners where there's a little bit. And we'll adhere that to the card front, so I'm making sure that it opens up before I adhere it down. Isn't that just the prettiest? I absolutely love this. Okay, so now we're ready for our little sentiment. So here's my pieces, and I'm going to take a piece of the linen ribbon that we included in your package, in your kit. And I'm going to cut two pieces, just about an inch long, and I'm just making sure I have nice, good diagonals on each one. I'm going to add a little bit of seal, and I'm just going to set it on there so that it kind of fans out. Next, I will use a black dimensional because that's what I have on my desk right now. And I'm going to just add a couple of dimensionals on here to pop this guy up. There we go. And now he's ready to adhere to the front. I'm going to put him right about there. We're going to open hit this guy up, and we're going to add the sentiment. Oops, got those all over my snips. All right, now the last major tip here is this is your piece of DSP that will fit your gift card. I like to use just a round punch. There's several punches that work that are in the catalog. You can use the arc one. I can't remember what it's called. This guy. So you can use this guy. Anything that kind of has a round sort of shape. Sometimes if you've been a demonstrator, the hexagon works. You can use that. Some of the story label punches, things like that, they all will work. What you're going to do is you're going to put it about halfway in. Well, what I mean is you're going to line it, center it, and make sure you have as close to each side. And then you're just going to punch a small lip into your designer series paper. And that circle punch works perfectly for that. So as I said, any of those punches would work. Oops. And now this is where I also use the tear tape, because liquid adhesive will kind of run sometimes, and then you have no place for your gift card to go. So I use the tear tape here. Seal is fine. Just be careful if you are using liquid adhesive so that you keep your opening there. All right here on this bottom. And there we go. There's card number 1 with a frazzled Tara putting it together. We'll add our designer series paper to our card flap. This is another go-to that we do. I love when I open up my mailbox and you get a little white envelope. But if you've got a little white envelope with designer series paper on it, there is absolutely no doubt what's in that envelope. Some little white envelopes can be just misleading. But if you've got this designer series paper on the flap, there's no misleading at all. It's the goods. That's a paper hug. All right, here is card number 1. I think I like this one that we did today a little bit better than the green. You guys let me know what you think. Do you have any questions? Did I go too fast? No questions? All right. Are we still there?
Good design. I love it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Just finishing up.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, and I didn't put my gems on it. Let's do that. So just a couple of gems that I put on. This is a brand new pack. There we go.
Ready to move on to mine? So the next card that we're going to make, this is the second one. It's another fun fold, just a really simple fun fold. I tried to make my cards simple this time. You're going to need the Delicate Pines stamp set, the Delicate Pines dies, Lost Lagoon, and Pretty Peacock inks, and Versamark ink also, because we're going to do some heat embossing with this one. So in your packet, your cards are all, should be folded at least. I think I folded everybody's. You should have a piece of, you're going to have one piece of Pretty Peacock that's like 4 by 4.5. I just grabbed scraps for mine. You're going to have a small piece of Lost Lagoon. That's going to be for the sentiment. And then you're going to have a piece of basic white that should be, I think I grabbed a scrap for this too. Let me just check. I believe it is 2.5 by 2.5. Again, I just grabbed a scrap real quick. So mine's a little bigger, but I'm only going to stamp on the bottom. Okay, a piece of Lost Lagoon that is 3.5 by 3.5. This is the one we're gonna emboss, and we're gonna do the embossing first. And then you'll have a couple pieces of the DSP along with cherry cobbler mats, and then a long thin piece, which is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. That's going to be for the inside. And then there's a little tiny piece here, and that's just to decorate the inside, just to go on the bottom of your inner liner. And this came from the bottom of when I cut your one panel of DSP. There's this little piece and it fit, so that's why I threw it in. You do not have to use it if you do not want to. All right, so we're gonna do the embossing first, just so it can cool off a little bit. So you're gonna need your Lost Lagoon panel. You need your little stamping buddy or embossing buddy, sorry, just to go over it. And you always want to use the embossing buddy because it takes the static. It helps so that you'll only get the embossing powder where you stamp. All right, and you're going to take the largest snowflake, and that's what we're going to stamp on this one. Just going to stamp it with the Versamark. Oops. And as soon as you stamp, you're going to want to put your white embossing powder. I'm checking it. It didn't look like mine stamped fully. You want to sprinkle it with your white embossing powder. Okay, it did. And just make sure it's fully covered. Get some embossing powder out of the way because that could be a real catastrophe if I hit it with the heat gun. All right, and then we're going to use You're going to use your heat gun. The Stampin' Up! Heat gun has two settings. Setting number one is for drying. So if you're too impatient when you're waiting for ink to dry. And two is for the heat embossing. And it is going to get a little loud for a second. Larger images sometimes do take a little bit longer. All right, I'm just going to let it set on the side because, I mean, it's dry enough to work with, but I'm going to move on and then we'll get the die cutting. We'll do all the die cutting at once. Okay, so you have a small panel and a larger panel of DSP. We're going to adhere them. So the one is a 1 inch by 5 1/4 or 5 1/4. And the mat is the cherry cobbler is 1 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then the same thing, this one here, the second one should be 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And the mat for that one is 2 7/8 by 5 3/8. And we're just going to adhere those DSP panels to the cherry cobbler mat. And I mix it up, unlike Tara. I do like liquid glue. And I mix it up what I use. I tend to use liquid glue more, first of all, because I'm fighting with this right now for some reason. But no, it's mainly because I need wiggle room. I should have called myself a crooked stamper because I'm always crooked. So when I use liquid glue, it gives me that little extra wiggle room. I mean, the Stampin' Seal, as long as you don't press it down, you can lift it up and move it. I just like to just not have to lift it and just move it around. And then I'm just going to adhere this. And my pattern is a little different from yours. I was running out of stuff when I was cutting yours. So, of course, mine got whatever was left. All right. And then we have our thick, basic white card base. Oops. You know what? Get my liquid glue out because I'm having trouble. I think I'm at the end of my Stampin' Seal, and that's why it's not cooperating with me. And I do not believe these patterns have a direction. The pine boughs go all different ways. At least mine do. I'm pretty sure. And the snowflakes obviously don't have a direction. So that's one of the really good things with this DSP, because you don't have to worry about directions with it. All right, so the smaller one goes on that front panel, and then if you just open that up, the larger one will fit right inside here. And then I'm off a little bit. I didn't liquid glue, I'm off a little. But then we're going to take the white panel and we're going to stamp it's the medium snowflake, this one here, just on that one in Pretty Peacock. And while I have the Pretty Peacock ink out, I'm going to take the small Lost Lagoon panel and stamp my sentiment on it. And I use the Warmest Winter Wishes. You can use any sentiment you want, whatever will fit into that. Okay. I think that's all the stamping right now. So the sentiment can be set to the side because you're not cutting that. So we need to cut the large snowflake. Need to cut, and then with the large one, there's the inside piece. So this is going to go right like this, and you're going to cut all that at once so you get everything cut out. I put Post-it note tapes on it. Same thing with the medium one. Oops. We have the inside piece for that. Interesting. All right, so we're going to get some Post-it note tapes and start taping my stuff together. Because from here to my die cutting machine, everything's going to move. Okay. That go right like that. Get a piece of this. And then this one goes right in between. Put it out. Just to hold that. And then we're going to do the same with this. I'm going to Post-it note tape and have all these pieces just on my die cutting machine that I just keep reusing. I'm just going to that one. Just put an extra one just to hold it. I'm going to die cut these. Looks like pieces fell out already for me. Oh, get these really pretty snowflakes. I love these dies. I love the way they, all the inside pieces that get cut out and Same with this one. Has all those pieces cut out. Okay, now we are going to take the largest pine bough, this one here, and unfortunately, they only include one of these with the dies. The small one, you got three. This one, they gave you one. And you need to cut out three of them. One, two, yep, three of these. So that's why I just have a bunch of scraps of paper. So this will be on your 4 by 4.5 inch piece, I believe it was, of pretty peacock. You should be able to cut all four of them out. It does give you a bunch of little tiny pieces in here. So to be very careful when you're taking these out of the dies. These really stick. I don't know, have yours been sticking, Tara?
Yes.
Okay, so it's
I
just the
use
dye
my
in
brush
general.
on it a lot.
My brush
But
is across the room.
I'm not exactly sure where mine's at today. Must be where everything else that I own is.
I'm always afraid I'm going to rip these. Rip the wet there. Oh, guess I'm cutting another one. I ripped it. Just what I was afraid I was going to do. I didn't want to cut these out ahead of time because I wanted to be at the same pace that you guys all are. My guess is you're probably ahead of me. Oh, giving me a hard time here. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys.
Karen, I'm sure if you're struggling, they are too. So take your time. It's not a big deal. As long as we're off by 7.
Well, I've got to pick Kara up from work. We still don't have a car.
Uh,
So
I'm so sorry. Will it be done tomorrow?
who knows? They're off on the weekend. So
Wow.
work isn't getting done. I hope it's done tomorrow. I cannot go. And I have to take her. She starts cat sitting tonight. So I have to take her there and I'll sit in the car and it's not like I can do anything. It's just my snowflake is just stuck. Okay, there we go. I got it. Phew. And I ripped another one. Oh my goodness. When I originally made this card, I didn't have this much trouble. I'm gonna see if I can find my little brush. I don't think the brush is going to help anymore with getting this out. I don't know what's wrong with my die.
I think that one's definitely a candidate for putting wax paper between your paper and the die. Those intricate kind of
This
things
is,
come out easier that way.
I have to tell you though, this is the first, because I've been using this die now for a couple weeks. And this is the first time, this is the first one I've ripped. And the first time I've had this much trouble getting it out. Okay, I did it. Is everybody else way ahead of me? Get my mess out of here.
We're good.
Okay, we can move on now.
The breath, Karen.
It was stressful. That was very
I
stressful.
know. Relax.
Okay, so we're going to take the medium snowflake and adhere it to the embossed snowflake. And I believe, let me just double check. I did. Okay. You're going to line up these lines with these lines so you could still see through it. And I just use glue dots to adhere them together. This card uses a lot of glue dots, I'll tell you that. Then you're going to take these little intricate ones that gave me such a hard time. Oh, there's still pieces in there. Okay. And again, I'm going to use glue dots with these. It just, to me, it holds better. And you're just going to layer them on top, and you can do it however you want. Okay. If you want to match them up, you can match them up. If you want to go, so it's going to go like, that's how I'm going to do it at least. So I'm going to go in between this, the ends of the snowflakes. And I'm just putting glue dots in between. I'm just matching up the centers. If you want to use a dot of liquid glue, you can do that. I think when I did, yeah, when I did my first one, I lined up all the lines. This one I didn't. I went a little in between. So you could do it however you would like. There we go. Okay, I can take a breath now. I got my snowflake together. Nothing else is going to happen here. And what I did is I'm just going to adhere this right to this panel with a, did I use a Stampin' Dimensionals? I just want to make sure. Yep, Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm just going to adhere this right to this panel with Stampin' Dimensionals. It can overhang because, I mean, it can't go this far, but you can set it wherever you would like, however you would like. If you want to go, the pine boughs up and down, whichever way you want. I have no dimensionals here. What I did is I wanted to make sure, because you don't want to get the dimensionals over here or over here. So what I actually did is I only put one in the center and set it where I want it. Do this. And then I kind of just sneak underneath and put more dimensionals. You're not going to see them. They're going to be under the solid part. So I just kind of went around and put them right underneath. And I put them underneath first, and then I went back and took the covers off. So, oops, just so I can get them all placed. I mean, you can leave just the one, but sometimes with just one, it will spin around and it can come loose. So this was just kind of that reassurance that it's going to stay. So I have it all. I've got them in all the spots I need them. There we go. And then I'm just going to put the sentiment right below, and I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals right on the ends here. Right. And then I added just one of the iridescent foil gems right in the center of the snowflake, and I think I used a larger one. I think I'm going to use a larger one. Just to give it a little sparkle. Right, and then on the inside, so the sentiment I used is to celebrate the season. And if you notice, it's too big for the panel. So I'm going to very carefully ink up the celebrate the, and you know what, I'm going to, just to be on the safe side, my trusty Post-it notes again. And I'm just going to put it over the S. So all I'm going to, if I get some ink here, it's okay because I'm going to lift that up. And this is just an easy way so you can use your sentiments in tight places. Okay, so just I do have to clean my stamp because the ink is there. Little trusty post-it note. Just put it just over here and ink up. I don't think it's there. It goes. Just ink up the season part of the sentiment. And then just center that right under the celebrate. Just going to stamp a couple snowflake on the inside. And what I did is I took one of the smaller sentiments and just stamp it right up there in Lost Lagoon. And then I took the tiny one with a pretty peacock and just got it right, center it right over the top. Just like that. And then I had that little piece here somewhere, and I'm just going to put that on the bottom. Oh my, what's going on with the Stampin' Seal today? There we go. A little bit of this to it. And that should fit perfectly because it's the same. It's 2 3/4 inch. Okay, gonna adhere this to the cherry cobbler, which I believe is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'm just gonna adhere it all the way to the left side. Like that. And then I'm getting my glue out. I'm getting tired of fighting with that seal today. I'm gonna get a new one out for the next card. And this will go right inside. And then this part is hidden by the front, so you'll just get the red. Now, you could do, so if you want to put a piece of DSP there, you can do that, whatever you want. It's your card, you know the deal. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to adhere the panel to the envelope flap. And then I had stamped a snowflake on the front of my envelope also. I did that ahead of time. Oops, I got a little electrical. Oh, sorry, I can clean that. I had stamped a couple on the front, so there's my cards are pretty much the same. They're just a different pattern of DSP I use. This one here was the one. Oh, I didn't use more than one. Look at that. So I might as well put a couple more. Wasn't sure how many embellishments I used. Right there. And we'll put another one right up there. So There you go. You can use this one here, you can use any DSP you want. All right, I'm just going to pause for a little bit just so everybody can get caught up, and then we will start with our next card.
All right, guys.
All right, hang on, Tara, I got to spotlight you.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm getting better at this. There we go.
All right. So this is my card number 2. This is the Delicate Pines Glimmery card is the name of it. So that may be what you see on your packet. So this is a pretty simple card. We are going to use Secret Sea ink. We're going to use white embossing powder, and we are going to use Versamark. So let's get to it. All right. So I've got a couple of different things going on here. We are going to do our stamping first, and that way we can get that out of the way, and then we'll put it all together. Okay, so you should have 2 pieces of 3 3/4 by 5 basic white. So this is one for the inside, one for the outside. You should have 2 pieces of gold foil that should be just like 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So you just got to have that basic 1 inch or 1/8 of an inch around. You should have a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 piece of basic white. And then this is maybe 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 piece of basic white. So we're going to take those 2 small white squares, and we're going to pull out our Secret Sea ink. And I'm going to open this up. My phone's topsy-turvy. There we go. Get you a little better photo viewing point there. And I'm going to ink up that small snowflake and give it a little stamp. I'm going to push that to the back. So Secret Sea is a dark pigment ink. So sometimes, especially with like dark reds, but Night of Navy and Secret Sea do need a few extra seconds to dry, so it doesn't smear. I'm also going to stamp the large snowflake from the Delicate Pines collection with that Secret Sea. Get that out of the way so it can dry. There is a small, like 1/2 inch by 2 3/8 maybe. And this is what the sentiment Celebrate the Seasons from Delicate Pines. We're going to stamp that up. And I'm not going to lie to you, I may have cut myself 2 of these because I'm nervous. But I didn't need it. All right. So I got that nice and straight. So these are the 3 pieces that we're going to need for the inside or for the outside. Let's see here. Now I need to look and see what's on the inside because I don't remember. If I were my card, here it would be. Here I'd be. All right, May the Chill of Winter. That's going to be from the Snowflake collection. So any of these will obviously work. I used May the Chill of the Winter be warmed by friendship and by love and friendship. I love that. That's what I love about this community is sending these cards out and with these awesome sentiments. All right. So now I'm going to take that one of those pieces of basic white. I use my grid paper when I'm stamping a sentiment, and thank goodness this is a photopolymer, so I can do a pretty decent job. Now we're not done. I can't be done here. Let's do like maybe a snowflake on this corner of my envelope. There we go. And maybe a couple of little ones. So the post office will really hate us. Now, put the ink away, Tara. You have done enough. All right. Now, I'm going to give my large snowflake. Did I use the large one? I feel like I used the large one. I didn't. I used the medium small one. I'm still not convinced I did that. Yeah. All right. So we're going to use this medium sized snowflake. So you've got your two large snowflakes like this, and then you have these two little ones. So I used this one right here. And that's what we're going to stamp with Versamark. And we're going to stamp it just randomly all over the face of this basic white. Now, everybody does their embossing powders differently. Part of the thing I think you need to take away from these classes is there's no right or wrong way of doing things. We all do it differently. So this is how I store mine. I have this nice little plastic tote. I have this piece of paper that I've been using for, I don't know, a long, long time. I have my static pad, and then I'm going to pull out my clear embossing powder. So I keep all of that together so I know where it's at. So I'm going to take my static buddy, embossing buddy, static pillow, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just rubbing that fine mica powder all over. I'm going to throw it back in my bag because I like it to keep it preserved as much as possible. That way it lasts you decades. Because I think I've had that one about a decade. All right, and now I'm going to ink my snowflake up randomly all over my card. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Just make sure you don't overlap. And if you twirl it a little bit, you should be able to see where you're at. And I got those pretty close, but I think they'll be fine. I'm going to top off my Versamark. And then I'm going to pour on my clear embossing powder. And then I'll warn you, I'm not going to be as good as Karen because my volume is up on my phone, so I'm not going to be able to mute it. Ooh, I made a mess here.
Mine wasn't loud?
I didn't hear yours at all.
Oh, wow. I thought it was really loud.
Well, good. Maybe mine won't be loud. So I also use, let's plug it in. Hold on. It didn't go with me yesterday, so it's not plugged in. Now I got to find on my stand which thing I want to unplug. All right, there we go. So I wait until it gets a little hot. And I'm also going to pick it up with my tweezers because I'm a baby and I don't like to burn my fingers.
I've actually
Now I
melted my
love
nail
to
polish
do
with it.
a white tone on tone embossing look. It's one of my faves.
See, now I don't hear yours at all, Tara.
Do what?
I don't hear yours at all.
You don't hear it at all?
Nope.
Jeez Louise, it's so loud. That's so weird. I wonder if it's because it's like white noise. I wonder if Zoom like filters it out. Because I didn't hear yours either. And that's so weird. Okay. So here's our card front. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and because there is a lot of embossing, ooh, I got this embossing powder everywhere. All right. Ooh. I need to take another shower. It's the first time I've worn embossing powder. And now I'm going to adhere that to my gold mat. So this is our card front. Now it's important for you to decide like what you want people to see the most of. And I kind of like my snowflake down in the right corner here versus the top right or left. So I'm going to turn mine that way. So once again, that's what's really cool about this set is it's not directional. You can use whatever you know. Okay. Now here's all of these crazy dies. Now I'm going to use this large one to die cut this. And I'm so sorry, I was setting up my laptop when Karen was doing this, so I don't know if she went through this. Then we're going to use this little die here in the center to cut out the middle. Then we've got that one with a die cut that matches. But then we've got the little inside guy that's going to cut out all of the intricate inside stuff. Now, one of the things that I do when I'm doing this is I have all sorts of like low tacky tape. So a friend of mine gave me this mint one. And so this is really cool because then you can line it up. You can use Post-it notes. You can use Post-it note tape. And sometimes I just leave these when you have a die cut that works like this, that pairs with another one. I sometimes just leave them taped together on my magnetic sheet. That way it's a one and done thing. I don't have to do this 400 times. So we're going to die cut these. And then we're going to do 3 of these big ones, just like Karen did. So I'll let you go do your die cut. I'll go do my die cut and we'll reconvene here in a minute. All right, I just want to show you guys something that I just tried. So for this big long die, I did go ahead and run it through twice. So I ran it through once and then ran it back again. I've got this little brush that I'm scraping that stuff out. But what I'm noticing is if you poke it in the center and then run a sharp edge, like one of these thin things, it's releasing really well. So that may be another way to release that intricate die cut without tearing it. So you may want to try that.
I think the glimmer paper is also stronger than our cardstock. So
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
helping it.
And we're stronger than your cardstock. Was yours with
Right.
cardstock or with glimmer paper?
Mine was pretty peacock cardstock.
Oh, I thought yours was with glimmer paper too. Okay,
No,
I
and
see what you're
that's why I
saying.
think I was having so much trouble.
Okay.
Because most of the snowflakes I've made have been with glimmer paper.
Okay, okay. I got you now.
There's a part to the I forget what this is called. I've had it forever. But there's different ends you can put on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
there's a
take your
flat
pick
end.
tool.
Take
The
a
take
pick
your pick
tool.
tool.
But there is this very flat part. Where's
Yep.
my camera? And sometimes I pop up the center, like you said, and then I put this under it because this is very thin. And this works pretty good for getting dies out as well.
Thank
I
you.
usually use my take your pick tool, but I use the pokey side, which is the opposite side of the flat one. I use the flat one when I make mistakes and I have to peel things up. Yeah, that's the question I get asked the most, I feel like, on the reels that I do is what is that device that you use to put the gems on with? People that are not familiar with Stampin' Up are obsessed with that thing.
Well, I've been making cards for about 40 years now. So
Oh,
I have
wow.
all kinds of tools. When a friend of mine was a demonstrator for a company called DOTS, DOTS, dozens of terrific stamps, which became close to my heart. So
Oh.
yeah, that long ago I've been doing this.
Hmm. All right. So on a rare occasion, I will actually use liquid adhesive, and die cuts are usually the one. So this is what my large die cut looks like, the large snowflake. That's going to be our base. And we're basically going to build up our snowflake so that it's layered and dimensional. So I'm just taking some liquid adhesive, and you can see how that thick liquid adhesive, that's the reason we don't get along, because with liquid adhesive, you have to be really light-handed, and I just am not. Even when I know that it needs to be less. All right, so then you have your 3 snowflake branches that you're going to add on separately. And you're basically going to put one in between. So you've got your 3 dots here in the center. You're going to put your circle there, and you're going to line it up in between each large branch. So I'm going to use liquid adhesive. Actually, not. I'm going to use a glue dot. That's how much I hate liquid adhesive. So liquid adhesive, glue dot, whatever works for you. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And so the cool thing about this is when you glue this right in the center with the glimmer paper, it does have a tendency to kind of come up a little bit. And that's perfect because we want it to not be so flat. We want it to kind of curl up a little bit so that those snowflakes have a life of their own. Okay. So there's, man, that's so pretty. Now, I'm going to bring out my dimensionals. And I found another flat piece. So here's my dimensionals. I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to cut them. This one is already half. I'm going to cut that one in a quarter because you don't want very much. And it's going right in the center of our snowflake. Now, because my hands are big and get in the way, I'm going to use tweezers here because I'm going to twirl this snowflake around until I find how I like it the best. I like him right there. So that snowflake has popped up just a little bit. And now we're ready for our celebrate sentiment, which I did such a good job. Oh, there it is. I was afraid I was going to have to redo it. And then we're going to put him right there in the center. So I'm going to kind of line this up. I'm going to put a dimensional on this end, on the very two ends. And I think I'm only going to use half dimensionals, which I don't normally use. I usually use whole dimensionals. And then I'm going to put a little strip of seal right in the middle of it because we want it to adhere nicely, but it's kind of floating in Never Never Land. There we go. And see, that card really has it's got a life of its own. It's really not flat at all. And I love that. I'll let you guys work on yours. And because I want this card to be super fancy with the life of its own, I'm going to put this card front on with dimensionals. Now, I'm a whole dimensional girl. There's been debates on how crazy I am because of the amount of dimensionals that I use. And that's okay. I'll accept that. I'll own it. Part of the reason I don't like halves is because by the time I cut them in half, they start disappearing. And at least if I have a whole sheet, it works. All right. We're going to line this up, put it on the card front, and then I'm going to look around my desk. There they are for my iridescent foil gems. And I'm going to throw those on. Now, Karen and I haven't really talked about next month much. I know that she said we're doing it a little differently. So that's going to be a Christmas tags and more class. Be looking for the sign up soon. That's going to be a free class with a purchase. We're doing it on a Friday night because, well, things get crazy around the holidays. Let's just face it. All right, so I'm just kind of throwing my little bling here. And I've got 5, and I think I'm going to leave it at 5. And now the only thing I have left to do is to adhere the inside stamped panel to another piece of gold foil. I think gold and Secret Sea are the 2 best colors of all time. Well, and silver. I like silver with Secret Sea too. We'll put that on the inside. It just has a very classy look to it, in my opinion. Super duper classy. All right, now here's my envelope. I think I'm going to do that side. And we're halfway done, guys. Any questions?
I think this is a very elegant looking card. I love the black and gold.
Thank you. I like the dark and gold look as well. It just has a classy statement to it. And when you add the little bit of shimmer paper with it, which I do love that Peaceful Garden shimmer. It took me a while to jump on the bandwagon with it, but once I jumped on, there's been no looking back. But that seems to be how I roll. So there's card number 3, 2/3.
Right, the first card of the second pack.
This is really stunning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, in person, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, the pictures don't do
don't do it
justice.
justice.
No,
That's
the
for
pictures
sure.
don't. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I've tried, when I take all my pictures, I try all different angles, and
Yeah,
you don't get the real feel unless you have it in
It's-
front of you.
the embossing on this just really pops. That's cool.
Thank you. Thank you. I did this with I did sort of this look with just the Secret Sea with silver foil and then Secret Sea on top, and then I had stamped it with the Versamark and heat embossed the silver, and it was, the pictures definitely didn't do it justice. It was so pretty.
I bet. Woo, beautiful.
Well, I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you.
Do you have a date for next month, or is that a secret?
No, as of now, we're planning on the first Friday
I
of
think it's December the 5th, if I recall.
Hang on, I'm looking now.
I made the flyer last night.
December 5th. And part of the reason for that is we normally do the last Sunday of every month.
Right.
But because of Thanksgiving and because of Christmas, it just it wasn't going to work. So we decided to do one in between, and we were going to do the first Sunday of December, but that's our quarterly team meeting. So we decided to switch it to a Friday night, to do it on a Friday night. So it'll be Friday, December 5th.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm still catching up a bit, but I wanted to show everybody. Someone I knew got this precision glue press from My Sweet Petunia, so I had it as a Christmas present a year ago. But it's fabulous because it comes with glue bottles, and you can put Tombow in the empty one if you want to, but the glue it comes with is really great, and it has a very precision tip. And it's really easy to squeeze too, which is helpful as we get older. But it allows for really fine detailed gluing, and it prevents a lot of mess in gluing too, because you can still use it like you would with the Tombow thing, and it's just not as messy. So
Some of my teammates have
was,
that and they
it was
use
highly
it.
worth it.
Yes, some of my teammates absolutely love it.
All right. All right. I am going to get started with my card, and then we will take another break after this card so everybody can get caught up on their cards. So mine is the blended snowflake card. And I did die cutting inside, die cutting outside. I love this die. It's like my all-time favorite. I haven't used it enough yet. So, okay. So we need for this one here, the Snowflake Kisses the whole bundle, because we're using the sentiment, we're using the large die cut and also the corner die cut. And then the delicate pines, I use the snowflakes to stamp, I think the inside, or no, the envelope. And then we need the small pine boughs that with the snowflakes. All right, so we're going to start. Let me get my card on the side. In your packet, you have, I'm not sure why I have a piece like, well, probably to cut out the, I'm guessing this is, I have this piece for me to cut the little dies with. I'm guessing that's what or some of the boughs with. I had this piece also. Again, I probably threw scraps in mine, but you should have a piece of the glimmer paper, and it should be like a 2.5 by 6 inch piece of the garden glimmer. Now, I don't know about you, but this looks silver to me. You have yours in front of you. Supposedly it's light green. I still haven't seen green. Maybe if I put it next to green, it'll look green. It's silver to me. You'll have a small piece of white that, get the measurement up. 2.25 by 2.25. This is going to be to cut out this center piece here. And then you have a piece of Pool Party, which is what I did my original with. And the Pool Party will be, hang on, I'm looking at my measurements, 2.5 by 2.5. And that's for the mat around the sentiment. B and I use Balmy Blue, Fresh Freesia, and Pool Party. I wanted to change it up and use Balmy Blue with this one, just to see how it came out, see which one I like better. I love Pool Party. I'm not a huge fan of Balmy Blue, although I love blues, but Pool Party is my all-time favorite. Then you'll have a panel of basic white that is 4 by 5.25. This is the card front that you're going to work with. And I believe this is, okay, there's another piece 4 by 5 1/4, and the balmy or pool party for the inside, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. That's for your inner liner. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start with, I'm not starting with die cutting. That'll just get me upset. We're going to start with this panel, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the coloring first, and then I have a piece of an adhesive sheet because I really trying to put glue on this. I just didn't want to go through that. Now, if I had the fine tip glue gun, it would work wonderfully, but I wanted to make sure it would be a little easier with the adhesive sheet. For me, it is at least. But you can use, if you want to put a piece of adhesive sheet, you can. But I'm going to color first because if I make a mistake, I can always flip the paper over and I'm not committed to one side. So I'm going to open up all my inks. I got my balmy blue. Make room. Got fresh freesia and pool party. And this is where we're going to do a little bit of blending. These like this. And even though we're die cutting, you still want to start off the paper. So I'm just going to ink it up a little, go off, and then come onto the paper with it. And you're putting color wherever you want, however you want. It's all going to get die cut. Ooh, my table's shaking, sorry. So and remember, you can always go back and add more, but you can't take the ink away. So that's why I start out with a little bit and I go back. But you always want to start, you don't want to go directly on the paper because like as soon as you hit the ink going on, because you get blobs that way. I don't like blobs personally. And you don't need a lot of ink. I mean, if you see, I'm just kind of just tapping it. You don't have to rub it in the ink. I'm just going to go around with each of the colors. I love pastels. These are my favorite. The subtle colors are my favorite colors. And everybody's will come out different because of the way you do your blending. And that's okay. And you want the colors to overlap a little bit. little bit more full party just to bring that out a little bit. And then once you have the color the way you like it, close your inks. So I do like the way this side came out. So I am going to put the adhesive sheet on the other side. And I cut my adhesive sheet a little bit smaller than the paper. And what I do is I take one panel off at a time and slowly adhere it. I was originally going to do this with liquid glue. And then I kind of had second thoughts. I just could imagine a mess I was going to make. But yeah, if you do like one panel at a time, tear off one panel at a time of the adhesive sheet. If you use the Stampin' Up adhesive sheets, they come in panels. It's one big sheet. Here's just a piece cut.
I think it's 6 by 12.
6 by 12. It's a 6 by 12, but then it's, I don't know if you can see that it's like divided into like, what is it, like every 2 inches. So they're 2-inch strips. So that's what I'm pulling off, the 2-inch strips at a time. I use the adhesive sheets a lot for like all these intricate dies that we have that it's right up there with liquid glue getting all over you that sometimes. Right. Now, when you run this through your die cut machine, you do have to go over it a couple times. So, so I'm just going to set it on the top in the center. Now, your best bet when you're running, excuse me, a square die cut like this, a large die cut, is put it through on a slight angle. It goes through a lot smoother. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to run it through just like this through my die cut machine. It looks like everything cut through with the through the adhesive sheet and all. Just going to remove that and take all those pieces out. The big, they should pop out. Don't throw the centerpiece away. You can use that for something. You can stamp a sentiment on it. That die worked much nicer for me, Tara. Oops, I do need this again, so I do have to pop all the pieces out. And then what I'm going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to take that panel of Pool Party, or I have the Balmy Blue, and you just want to put it right over the circle in the center, because that's going to be what makes your mat for your sentiment, and just run it through again with this. Right? We're going to get the rest of the die cutting done. So with on from the small white panel, this is what your sentiment's going to go on. There's this small die cut that goes in the center of that. So I'm going to cut that. And I'm also going to cut, hopefully we have 3 of these, so it'll go a little faster. All right, so we need to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 of, I believe 12 of these, 11 or 12 of the boughs so that we could put them together to make snowflakes. So you can cut all those also. These pop out a lot easier. One more. Oh, I didn't like my. I got all my die cutting done. How's everybody doing? You getting everything all cut?
Yep, got mine done.
Okay. So we have a thick basic white card base, and I am going to, we're going to adhere the die cut panel onto that if I can get the adhesive start. There we go. Now, although the adhesive sheet is divided into 2-inch sections, it's only divided on one side. So the other side comes off in one sweep. Okay, and we're just going to adhere this to the card front. And the adhesive sheet is forgiving that if you need to pick it up, you can. You know, it doesn't adhere immediately. Oops. And then I like to just give it a rub on the back because then I can be rough with it to make sure it really adheres down. That piece on the side. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And since I have a balmy blue mat this time, on the card, on the directions and all, it says to stamp it in Pool Party, but it's your card. You could stamp it in whatever color you would like. And I'm actually stamping it Sending Warm Hugs. So the one I did, I stamped Let It, actually, I think I want the Let It Snow. There's my, stick with the Let It Snow. So much as I like changing things up. And I like stamping sentiments on circles because you can't get it crooked. Because if it's crooked, you just turn the circle a little bit.
That's very true.
Very forgiving. All right. And then we're just going to adhere your sentiment to the mat that you cut. And then I pop this up with dimensionals in the center of the card front. And I'm one of those half-dimensional people. When I get my dimensionals, I cut them all in strips. So I have all half dimensionals ready to go anytime. Because then I don't feel guilty if I use 6 or 7 on the back because I'm really only using 3. Right, just gonna adhere this right in the center. Not sure what's on my. I guess it was just one piece of it where I got blue. So I don't mind the blue. The blue's not bad. Pool Party is still my favorite, but the balmy blue isn't bad. All right, now we're going to adhere these snowflakes together the same way we did before. At least I'm going to, with a glue dot in between each one. I'm actually going to put the glue dot on the back. Now, when I did my snowflakes, some of them have 4, some have 3. So again, you can do however many you would like. So if you're going to do 4, you're going to do kind of an X and then another X. And then if you're going to do 3, you're going to do it, and it's going to be a little bit different because you're going in thirds. So you're not going to do like the X, you're going to just do it more just on an angle. So for this card, I'm going to do 2 of them with 3 and just 1 with 4. Now I have 2 silver um, snowflake bows cut already. And just adhere them with, I think I did glue dots. Or did I do glue dots? Or no, I did use a dimensional on the back. You know what? But you only need a piece of one, or a mini dimensional will work too. Mini dimensionals fit perfectly. if you have those. And then just set them on wherever you want on the front. And I did not put any embellishments on this card. Because I thought the snowflakes gave enough embellishment, at least for me. Right, and then on the inside, what do I have? What do I have? May the chill of winter be warmed by love and friendship. But I actually, you know what? I think I'm going to use what I was going to originally use on the front, sending warm hugs. And just so you know, I do this when I'm making my cards, not in a class or anything. I change the sentiments as I go. Make it straight. You can't tell because the sentiment itself is a little crooked. Right. And then I'm going to stamp some snow. Oh, no, I'm not stamping. Ah, okay. Okay, so I have to redo this. Flip your card. If you started stamping the sentiment on the inside, you're gonna have to use the back to stamp it. Because I forgot to cut this out first. And I guess last time I cut it out, I forgot to pop out the snowflake. Okay. Sorry about that. So now I had to flip mine over because I think, yeah, it's gonna just get in the, oh no, it's not. Okay, if yours will not get in the way, you can cut it out around the sentiment. I think my original one, I brought it down a little bit. I think I'm going to bring it down a little. So I think I'm going to die cut these from the back. And I did one in the top corner, one in the bottom corner, then stamp the sentiment. So whichever way works best for you, if your sentiment is in the middle and you can work this around it, that's perfect. And I did use a Post-it note on this too, because I wanted to try to get even amount around the sides. One on the top, one on the bottom. And this one I also put through on a little bit of an angle because it's got the straight edge. Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment right in the center here. So now when we put this on the mat, you're going to get those blue snowflakes coming through. Or pool party, whichever color you use. Oh. Now what I did when I did adhere this, because of the snowflakes and I wanted the ends, I did use liquid glue with a very light hand just along the edge there and just on the top and bottom. You want the corner to stay down. Just put very little bit there. And again, I'm going to give it a good rub on the back. And then just adhere this to the inside of the card base. Look, pieces of snowflake everywhere. And then on the envelope, all I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the snowflakes on the envelope. And I'm just going to mix up the color. I got glue all over my fingers. It's out of the way. And I'm just using a couple of the different stamps and I'm just mixing them up. And you can, I mean, these are just like endless combinations of what you can do with the snowflakes. And I'm just, that's what I'm doing on the envelope flap, with the stamping snowflakes. Just in the same three colors that I stamped, or I blended on the front. Just remember, if you are using different colors, clean and stamp in between. I don't have my small one. Look at this. just to decorate the envelope flap. And I did do a snowflake on the front also. So that is the balmy blue. And goodness, I have a mess on this desk. There's the balmy blue, and here is the pool party. Again, I tend to go more toward the pool party, but I like the balmy blue also. It's different. We're going to take another quick break so you guys can get caught up, and then we will come right back and finish our last two cards.
Wow, today, no, my email, like everything is all jacked up because the computers are not synced yet. It's going to take me all afternoon to get.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
All right,
it's a
hang on.
thing, you know.
Oh, that's what I usually say to my husband, just take it, get it fixed, and then give it to me when it's all ready to go.
That was that's how I woke up. I immediately got on my laptop and I was like, oh, it's dead again. Well, it's 7 years old. I mean, I got a lot of use out of it, but not a good day for it to go down. Not a good day. So it's okay. We got a replacement. I jumped in front of all of the people at line at Best Buy this morning because they opened at 11. There was like 20 cars there, and I was like, people, I gotta go.
Oh, there it is.
All right, so this
Okay.
is my card number 3. This is the Let It Snow. So this is a super simple card, doesn't take a whole lot of product, but once again, I think it's really pretty. So we're gonna start off with kind of a weird panel. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, where I would normally do 3 3/4 by 5, but that's what I did. I can't tell you any rhyme or reason. I was just weird that day. So I'm going to take my Versamark ink and I'm going to take this one of the small snowflakes from the Delicate Pine set. This is the one that looks like pine boughs actually, whereas the other one's kind of a swirlier looking thing. Kind of reminds me of a poinsettia if you just put those all together. And basically we're going to stamp randomly with Versamark. So I love to do Versamark and do a tone-on-tone stamp. So just ink it up really good. It mainly has to be along the left side or the right side because the left side we're going to kind of cover up. But I do like to put a couple on the left so they'll peek out from under the designer series paper. Okay. So now we have a sheet, a piece of the Elegant Pines designer series paper, and this is my favorite pattern. So you guys should feel loved because I shared it, because I sure didn't want to, because I love it that much. All right, we're going to adhere that to an old olive mat. And that's just leaving that 1/8 of an inch off just a little bit. And then we're going to adhere that to the card front. And so it goes almost all the way to the bottom and almost all the way to the top. You really only have about an 1/8 of an inch peeking out at the top for that card front. Okay. Now I have a small strip of basic white that I am going to die cut with this really beautiful die cut from the Snowflake Kisses. So it's just a really nice sentiment die. There's two. I mean, this die set is really beautiful. If you didn't want to get the stamp set, which is really pretty, the dies I feel like you have to have. Okay, so I'm going to use my mini and I'm going to die cut this out before I stamp it, just because when I have a narrow sheet of paper, like a narrow piece like we provided for you. I'm always going to worry that I don't get it in the middle. So I die cut it first. You can stamp and then die cut. It's your card, however you're comfortable doing things. And then I'm going to take a piece of the glimmer paper and I'm going to do that big long die that we've been doing all day.
I didn't get that glimmer paper. It's not in
Deb,
my,
is that you?
yeah, no, it's not in the little packet. So
Oh,
I'm just going to use, I have spruce, so I'm just going to use some of that.
okay, I apologize for that. I'm so sorry. How did I do? Is it on the PDF, Karen? Did I miss it on the PDF? You may have, you're not going along and doing them, are you, Deb? Because you don't. Oh no, you do have this set.
I am. I'm just using this. I have some spruce, so I'm just going to
I
use
was thinking maybe there was some left over from the other card where we used the glimmer paper.
No, not enough.
I am so sorry.
That's
I will
okay.
pop some of that in the mail to you tomorrow. That way you'll have it.
No need to do that. I'm just going to use the spruce, but
All right, so I'm popping this stuff out. I'm using the take your pick tool, as Arlene said, and it broke in half, but that's okay because I'm only using the halves. There we go. And then I have a small adhesive sheet that I'm going to adhere on the back of a piece of pecan pie. And actually, I'm going to look at my, yes, I want it on the pecan pie. So I'm going to take my pine cones. There's two different pine cones. There's a solid, and then there's one that's got the holes popped through. So the ones with the little holes or cones, we're going to cut that from the pumpkin pie with the adhesive sheet. And then we're going to die cut the early espresso. And then I'm going to send this through. And I like my little mini die cut and emboss because then I don't have to get up because my machine's on the other side of the room. Now, it's important to get rid of all of those little bitty cones so that you can get this nice little two-tone effect with your pine cone. Now, let's hold our breath.
cut one of the pine bough branches?
Which one?
Did you just cut one of these pine bough
I
branches?
just cut one, and then you cut it in half. That's how you get the other one. All right, now when you use the adhesive sheets, a lot of times you don't have to poke all your holes through all of those little delicate, uh-oh. That was my phone. All right, bear with me. I gotta find my charger for my phone, or we're gonna lose connection. All right, can you guys still hear me? Yes, no, maybe?
You're good, Tara.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, so I'm using my take your pick tool to just kind of pick the back off of this adhesive sheet. And hopefully all those little pieces will go with it. That's what I love about the adhesive sheets. It doesn't always work, but most of the time it does. So I'm just layering that on my pine cone. Today is the day of crooked cards. There we go. Now I can live with that. Okay, so we have our pine boughs here. We've got our pine cone. We've got our sentiment strip. So now we're ready to stamp that sentiment. So I've got Let It Snow from the Snowflake Kisses. And we're going to just do it on one end. Now, because this is a little longer, we're going to go ahead and trim that off just a scotch. And I'm going to put it on the card front with a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going about 1.5 inches up on the Designer Series paper. And now I'm trimming my pine boughs. And I'm going to use liquid adhesive just to throw those underneath the sentiment. If I were tweezers, I would probably be packed away. I know I've used them today, but my desk is a wreck. All right. So look at all that liquid glue. Ugh. And then I'm going to angle this off a little bit and just layer it right on top of each other. So there's a lot going on there, but we're covering a lot of it up. Now we're going to add the pine bough, and we're going to finish this off. This is a funny story. So Karen types the tutorials. I do the graphics and that sort of stuff. So we try to split things up. So she calls me and she's like, Tara, it says you have a bow on your card and I cannot find it anywhere. And I'm like, well, I know that bow's there. My bow had fallen off, but you can see the glue dot from where I put it on there. It had fallen off and I didn't even notice it. So I'm going to take a pretty good piece of this Secret C linen thread, and I'm going to tie a tiny, tiny bow. I want just the tiniest little bow.
I kept enlarging the picture and I couldn't find that bow anywhere.
I'm like, Karen, what are you talking about? I know it's there.
Well, that was the same as wasn't this the one? Yes, it was the Secret C pattern, which is 3 3/4 by
Yep,
5 1/4. And I cut all the pieces for my kits 3 3/4 by 5 because that's a normal size to me.
yep. But like I said,
I
I was
had to
going rogue
recut
that day.
everything.
Okay, so there's the tiniest little bow, and we're going to put it on top of we're putting it on top of our pine cone with a glue dot. There we go. So then your pine cone just sticks out ever so slightly from that adorable little bow. Now, once again, because I love dimensionals, we're going to adhere this panel to the card front. It's a shaded spruce card front with dimensionals. That back where it belongs. Flip this guy over. And there we are. Where's my basic white panel? Here it is. Now I got to look at my card because I don't know what here I know what I put on the inside. Here we are. So I took a sentiment, the same one about love and friendship from this Snowflake Kisses. I'm going to stamp that on a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white. And I think I'm going to add, did I add a little snowflake or two? No, I didn't. I just left it plain. We'll add that to the inside of the card base. And this card is super easy breezy. But once again, with that paper, it's never going to miss. So I've got my 2 1/4 by 6 piece of designer series paper that I'm adding to my envelope with just a little bit of liquid adhesive. Adhering that down. All right, here you go. Card number 3/5/3.
That design, nice and simple. Whoop. I gotta unspotlight you, Tara. You're making me dizzy here.
Sorry.
Ooh. Oops, now we got feedback. You have to unmute or sign back on.
There we go.
Okay.
So I can read my email.
All right. And we're gonna move on to, oops. Okay. So this is my last card. It's a nice, very easy one. No die cutting. Well, there's one little die cut piece. Which I believe, I don't remember if you called me about this one, Tara, but because my pieces were not, I know Arlene called me yesterday to say the pieces weren't matching up. So you're going to need the Delicate Pines. I use the Delicate Pines and the Snowflake Kisses for the sentiment on the inside, right? You're going to need Cherry Cobbler, Old Olive Ink, and Versamark. All right. In your packet, mine is different again because I ran out of paper. So I ended up using the Pretty Peacock panel instead of the Old Olive. But you'll have a piece of designer series paper that is 3 by 3, and the mat for it is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Okay. We're going to die cut the piece of DSP. And then you have a panel of Cherry Cobbler. And then this small piece is just for your envelope, or not your envelope, I'm sorry, your inner liner. You have a panel for your envelope. And we're going to get going with this one. This one's going to go really quick. I'm going to start by adhering this should be 4¼ by 5½ panel of DSP. And I'm going to adhere that to, I love this panel, this one here. I hate putting that on the back, but wasn't going to look right with this on the front. Well, what's on the other side of, yeah, that wasn't going. So we're going to adhere this to the front of your card base. So that's your card front. Okay. Take the cherry cobbler panel. It's my embossing buddy. And we're just going to rub the bottom of it because that's where we're going to stamp the sentiment, right? Just along the bottom. And I stamped it the Celebrate the Season, and I'm going to stamp this one Celebrate the Season also. You're going to stamp it in Versamark. Just at the bottom there, and it's this sentiment just fits. I'm going to sprinkle it with your white embossing powder. And I'm going to heat set it real quick. Just going to let that heat up a little. It heats up quick. It embosses quicker if you let the heat tool heat up a little bit. Then, got to get my dies out. We're also using the stylish shape dies. I forgot to pull them out. I'm sorry. We're using the largest square for the stylish shapes. And that's what we're going to cut the panel of DSP with. So I'm just going to run this through my die cut machine. Keeps moving. Die cutting and I are not getting along today. And then this, you're going to adhere right inside the panel of Old Olive. And that will get adhered right above your sentiment on the panel of cherry cob. And just leave an equal border all the way around, which it. Okay. We're going to take Secret C ribbon. And you're just going to cut two strips of it, just because you're going to put this on an angle. Just cut my nail with that one. So they're about 4 3/4 of an inch. And then you trim it down when you're done. And then all I did was just some Stampin' Seal, and that will hold them wherever you're going. Now I just pick a spot to put them. Your sentiment will go, is going to take up a decent amount, so just have to, pick a place wherever you want to put them. And I just put them on an angle behind the sentiment. Tripped. So I'm not going to trim them until I put this on it. I'm going to adhere this with Stampin' Dimensionals. Which now you do have to be careful because you don't want to put the dimensionals over the top of the ribbon. So you're pretty safe going on the top and bottom. And then I stick them right on here in between the ribbon. And just place that right over the ribbon. And then just once you have it down, give your ribbon a little trim. And I just added a few embellishments. And then on the inside, I'm going to stamp the sentiment. May the chill of winter be warmed by love and friendship. And I'm going to stamp that in cherry cobbler. Looks crooked to me. Just stamping crooked today and having trouble with die cutting. That looks better. It's a little crooked too, but you know what? That one, it's not as crooked as the other one. Now, on the ones on the card that you have, I stamped pine boughs because the paper I used for the original one was pine boughs on here. So I stamped the boughs on the inside. This one, I'm just going to put a snowflake. That's really, that's really bothering me. I'm usually really good with photopolymer stamps, with stamping them straight. I'm having trouble with this one. Unbelievable. Now I'll stamp my snowflake. But just stamp a couple pine boughs on the top. I'm just going to adhere the panel of DSP along the bottom. And again, this piece is from the bottom when I cut the card front. You get this little piece and not much you can do with it. So I always just put it on the bottom. And adhere this to a cherry cobbler mat. We're just going to put that on the inside. Panel for the envelope flap and we'll be done. And card number 6 is done. And again, I mean, on my original, I stamped the pine boughs on the front of the card, of the envelope, I mean. And this one, I just stamped the snowflakes. There you go. Oops, I'm all wonky all over the place here. So that is the last card for today.
Wow, everybody's really quiet this week.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Beautiful cards, lady. I love them.
And I think both Tara and my last card were like super, super simple.
They don't
Which
always
is,
have to be advanced.
no,
Super, super simple, but super, super beautiful.
Yeah, they're nice.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gorgeous
Thank you so
cards.
much.
Well, our last two, those are really easy to duplicate. Make a lot of them for Christmas cards.
Which is what you need for this season, is something quick and easy.
Right. All right. Does
And
anybody
luckily
have
that
any
paper-
questions for us?
Nope.
No, no questions.
Good
Okay, I hope you
job.
make
Thank
more
you
of
so
these.
much.
All right. We've got a little prize patrol again. Right, Tara?
Yep. I emailed you. I have real red ribbon. I'm pretty sure I told you that.
I probably forgot.
And some Cajun
Bad day yesterday,
dots.
Tara. I was forgetting a lot of things yesterday. And I have a pack of the low profile dots, which these are great because they're the gold. I like the gold. And I have some soft seafoam Stampin' Blends markers.
Oh, nice.
So I got to find the right mouse here. Hold on. One time I'm going to have just one computer here. What
Don't
are we
do
giving
that because
first?
then
All
it'll
right,
die.
the class is running over. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oops.
Sorry.
Sorry. You weren't supposed to hear that.
What's going first, Tara?
We could do the Cajun Praise dots.
Okay, those are going to go to Joanne Hyman. Joanne was coming back from vacation, so I will get her address to you.
Perfect.
Oh, I forgot to hit remove. I like to remove the names once somebody wins because, and we'll go with the soft sea foam blends are going to go to Sue Crowley.
Okay. I'll get you her address.
Okay. And then what do you have? The red ribbon?
Real red ribbon.
Kathy Rios.
You.
And the low profile dots. Oh, sorry, Kathy, I have to spin again. You can't win two
Oh.
times. Hang on.
Lucky.
That happened the one time with Arlene. I think her name came up 3 times.
Yeah, and it hasn't come up since.
And it just came up just now.
Oh, hot dog.
Good. That's funny.
What did I win?
You won the low profile dots,
Oh, wonderful.
which I love. I love these because it's my favorite color, the petal pink and gold. So great for Christmas cards, personally.
Yes. Love it.
Anybody
All
want to
right.
know about the Eagles?
The
No.
who? Oh,
No?
oh,
Okay.
football. All
Oh
right.
my God.
So our next class will be December 5th. And we haven't set a time yet because Tara works, so she's got to get home from work. So, but it is going to be on a Friday night. And it's going to be gift card holders and gift tags, but not necessarily all Christmas. There might be winter, there might be, their Christmas birthday because there's winter birthdays. There's a lot of December birthdays and all with gift cards. So I do have a design. I have one of my gift card holders. I had to do a practice run. I didn't finish it, but I can give you a little sneak peek.
Okay.
So it's just, I use paper that's retiring,
Ooh.
and the gift card is going to go in here in this spot.
Wow, that's beautiful, Karen.
Nice.
Super simple too, believe it or not. So, but that's all I got done. I practiced one card.
I'm listening. I'm just rummaging through my table here because I can't find a die that I just used. It's got to be here. Frustrating.
All right. Well, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out
This
to.
one right here.
Oh, you
It's
can't.
from
Oh, the wall wants to lose.
Snowflake Kisses.
Feel free to reach out either to Tara or I, and we can help you out with anything. The class in December is going to be a free class with a purchase. So everything will be on the. Give us over a week. Give us to get back till our retreat, and something will get posted about it. But we got to get ready for this retreat. We got cards that we have to put together. We have shoebox
I just
PDFs
finished
to
cutting
type.
mine out.
You just finished?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Well, I have one more PDF to type up for it because I did 2 cards. I'm bringing 2 cards with me.
Show off.
No, I just brought 2 cards.
I don't have
One
any
of
of the
them,
PDFs.
one of them it's because it's an overabundance of DSP that I have.
Oh,
Needless to say, that might be DSP that I use for next month's class or
so
my in-person class. They might get that DSP too.
I was gonna do the Delicate Pines, but then I did a card for my live tonight and I liked it so well. I was like, nah, that's going to be the shoebox. So